Think you know the richest families in the world? Bezos, Musk, Arnault? Think again. What you're about to discover goes beyond anything you could have imagined. One name, Salman. One family, the Al Saud. Their wealth? Astronomical, and yet no one talks about it. The House of Saud counts over 15,000 members, among them princes, princesses, ministers, and above all, businessmen. Their collective wealth? Over $1.4 trillion. Yes, you heard that right. That's more than the GDP of some entire countries. King Salman and his son, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, or MBS for short, hold absolute power over one of the greatest natural treasures in the world, Saudi oil. Aramco, the Saudi oil company, is the most profitable corporation on the planet. In 2023 alone, it generated over $160 billion in net profit. Just imagine, that's about the same as what Google, Apple, and Amazon make combined. And who controls Aramco? The government, which means the royal family. It's as if a single family owned all the oil in the Middle East. Gold-plated private jets, $500 million yachts, villas in London, Paris, Marbella. Prince MBS bought the most expensive chateau in France for $300 million. And that's just the beginning. His yacht, the Serene, 134 meters long, with a cinema, pool, and concert hall. His personal plane, a custom Boeing 747, basically a flying palace. He's even said to have purchased the Salvator Mundi, Leonardo da Vinci's painting, for $450 million. But this isn't just a modern-day fairy tale. The Al Saud family's wealth is a tool of global power. Prince MBS has invested in Uber, Twitter, Nintendo, and even Hollywood studios. Through the Saudi Sovereign Wealth Fund, he's financing Neom, a $500 billion futuristic megacity. The goal? To make Saudi Arabia not just an oil giant, but a global, technological, and cultural powerhouse. So why do we almost never hear about this colossal fortune? Because the wealth of the Al Saud family is fragmented, hidden across hundreds of offshore companies, family trusts, and foreign investments. On the surface, only the king appears rich. But in reality, thousands of family members live like modern emperors, and the world looks the other way. Being rich is one thing, but when that wealth gives you absolute power, it's another dimension. In Saudi Arabia, King Salman is both the head of state and the guardian of Islam's holiest sites, a king, a spiritual leader, a CEO of Black Gold, and his son, MBS, is the most powerful man in the Middle East. His power, he consolidated it through reforms and purges. In 2017, Mohammed bin Salman ordered the arrest of over 200 princes, ministers, and businessmen. Officially, it was an anti-corruption campaign. Unofficially, it was an internal coup, a total takeover of family power. The result? Billions in assets seized, opponents silenced, and one man left calling all the shots. Today, MBS is judge, king, and banker of the kingdom. But MBS isn't just obsessed with power. He dreams of immortality. His flagship project? Neom, a utopian city in the middle of the desert, 170 kilometers long. No cars, no pollution, flying taxis, ubiquitous artificial intelligence, and the cost? $500 billion. That's more than Norway's GDP, more than the Olympics and the World Cup combined. Neom isn't just a city, it's a message to the world. Saudi Arabia doesn't just want to be a country, it wants to be the future. And with near unlimited wealth, nothing is too big. Nothing is too crazy. But behind the glitter, there are many shadows. Prince MBS is admired by some for his reforms and modern vision, but to others, he's an autocrat, a ruthless leader who controls the media, hunts down critics, and silences dissent. Remember, in 2018, journalist Jamal Khashoggi was assassinated inside the Saudi consulate in Istanbul. The world was shocked. Western intelligence agencies pointed directly at MBS, but the scandal faded quickly. Why? Because Saudi wealth speaks louder than outrage. Oil billions buy silence, weapons, contracts, and sometimes complicity. What most people don't realize is that the Al Saud family doesn't just control their country. They influence markets, media, universities, tech, and sports. Massive investments in Silicon Valley partnerships with Hollywood takeovers of European football clubs, creation of the LIV Golf Tour, which shook up the PGA, Saudi soft power is taking hold quietly. It's no longer just about oil, but about prestige, narrative, and legacy. And while the world keeps its eyes on Western billionaires, the real power players are buying the rules. The Saudi royal family doesn't appear on any Forbes list. It doesn't need to be in magazines. They own the assets, the resources, the levers. They're not for sale because they control the market. And that's what real power is. What if this wealth wasn't just meant to dominate the present, but to control the future? MBS has a vision far beyond the economy or oil. He wants to leave a mark on history, not as a king, but as an eternal visionary. Behind the scenes of Neom, there's already talk of anti-aging research, conscious artificial intelligence, digital immortality. Imagine uploading your mind, extending human life indefinitely. Crazy? Maybe. But when you have endless billions, even the wildest dreams become actionable projects. The true ambition of the Al Saud family? It's not just to transform their country. It's to escape time itself. But behind this vision of greatness lies another reality: paranoia. A dynasty of 15,000 members also means 15,000 ambitions, 15,000 potential heirs, 15,000 risks. For years, the royal family has been plagued by tensions, exiles, betrayals, rumors of plots. Some princes are under surveillance, others have fled the country. Some have been arrested, without trial. All for one reason: the throne. Mohammed bin Salman knows he has enemies, sometimes within his own family, and he's willing to lock everything down to secure his place. When power is absolute, fear becomes routine. And inside the House of Saud, anyone can become a threat. While the spotlight shines on the G7 Davos or Silicon Valley deals, the Al Saud make their moves in the shadows. Billions invested in think tanks, universities, cybersecurity startups, streaming platforms. They're reshaping narratives, influencing the youth, buying the right to shape the future. And if you don't see them, that's by design. Because invisible power is the most effective kind. And Saudi wealth? It doesn't seek to shine, it seeks to endure. But in this story of power and luxury, there's a risk no one dares to mention. What if tomorrow oil becomes worthless? The global energy transition is underway. Electric cars are booming. Renewables are rising. If the world ends its oil dependence, Saudi Arabia's wealth could collapse. That's why MBS is accelerating. He wants to transform the economy before it's too late. To turn the desert into a global hub for tourism, tech, and artificial intelligence. But the question remains: can you truly buy the future when everything you own comes from a well of oil? They can buy yachts, islands, priceless artworks. But there's one thing even $1.5 trillion can't guarantee: loyalty. At the top of the Saudi pyramid, everything rests on a fragile balance: precarious alliances, purchased silence, buried truths. Because the bigger the empire grows, the more inevitable betrayal becomes. And one day, the crack will appear. Maybe an overly ambitious cousin, maybe a leaked document, or simply a generation that no longer wants to stay silent. What money can't buy is peace of mind. And in a kingdom built on absolute control, doubt is a ticking time bomb. But while palaces shine, jets take off, and billion-dollar deals are signed, another reality exists: the Saudi people. In small towns, in the desert, in forgotten neighborhoods, some live on less than $1,000 a month. Yes, infrastructure is evolving. Yes, reforms have begun. But in a country where one family holds most of the wealth, one question remains: who is this kingdom really for? Its citizens, or its invisible kings? Classified documents, offshore accounts in the Cayman Islands, villas bought under pseudonyms, shell companies. The fortune of the Al Saud family isn't just massive, it's fragmented, dissolved, almost ghost-like. And the deeper you dig, the more you realize it has no clear limits, because it obeys no law, no transparency. It exists between the lines, in the loopholes of the global system. And that system? Maybe it's the real king. There's one word the powerful hate: limit. And when you grow up believing everything can be bought, controlled, or inherited by right, you forget one essential detail: history can't be bought. The strongest empires, the richest, the most feared, they all fell in the end. Rome, Byzantium, the Habsburgs. And now, the Al Saud Empire stands at the peak of its power. But every summit is also the beginning of a descent. In a few years, when oil is nothing but a memory, when Saudi youth demand more than promises, when the truth finally escapes the gilded walls, then perhaps we'll understand. That endless wealth is just a mirage, that gold doesn't protect against everything, and that even the kings of the desert cannot escape the judgment of history. The Al Saud dynasty has written its legend, but what comes next may be the beginning of a new era. The wealth of the Al Saud family goes far beyond yachts, jets, and palaces. It infiltrates the world's centers of power. Behind every major international summit, every economic council, every energy negotiation, a member of the family is there, present, silent, strategically positioned. Money opens every door, but their fortune dissolves borders. Arms deals with the West, secret pacts with multinational corporations, unexpected alliances with former enemies. The Saudi monarchy plays chess on a global board, and most people don't even realize they're pawns. But if this kingdom continues to thrive in the shadows, it's also because the West looks the other way. Why? Because this wealth is convenient. Who buys weapons from French, American, and German industries? Who injects billions into Wall Street banks and European football clubs? Who finances London skyscrapers, charitable foundations, and Silicon Valley startups? Same answer every time: the Al Saud. And as long as the money keeps flowing, no one asks too many questions. Unlike Western billionaires, the Al Saud aren't just after wealth, they're after legacy, eternity, history. That's why they invest in artificial intelligence, space, education, the metaverse, and the digital worlds of tomorrow. Their goal? To become untouchable, not just in the present, but in the future. And while other billionaires dream of leaving Earth, they want to own it. A kingdom today, a planetary empire tomorrow, but in aiming for the sky, they may be forgetting the foundations. And history has shown us, all empires eventually fall. A scandal, a revolution, a global crisis, a shift in the climate. All it takes is one grain of sand to jam the machine. And when that day comes, it won't be petrodollars, private jets, or golden palaces that save the crown. They built their empire on secrecy. But today, that ends. You, watching this video, you're now one of those who knows. And once you know, you can't pretend anymore. The wealth of the Al Saud isn't a fairy tale. It's a brutal reality, a global mechanism of influence, a demonstration of raw power. Now, the question is, what will you do with this truth? What you've just seen is only the surface. The powerful live in the shadows. But here, we turn on the spotlight. So if you want to truly understand how the world works, if you want to see what the media won't show, and if you want to be one of those who refuses to blindly follow, subscribe now. Turn on notifications. Share this video before it disappears. And above all, stay curious, because what you don't know can control you.